Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Spruce Digital Channel. Today we're talking about a conversion rate optimization, but specifically for mobile. So in 2020, about 53 or 50% of the traffic on the internet comes from mobile devices. So it's quite important that you're optimized for mobile. So in this video, we're going to talk about 7 proven ways you can increase your conversion rate for mobile. So let's get started. So before we get started, it's important to keep in mind when you're designing for mobile, so you're optimizing your store for mobile, you're not just making your desktop version and you make it a smaller version. You're designing a completely new experience because the way we consume content on mobile is completely different than on desktop. So keep that in mind. Alright, so tip number 1, maximize your CTA buttons. So a lot of times on mobile, buttons are just too small for visitors to click on. So they're trying to click on a button, they're trying to convert, but the button is too small, and the truth is people are not going to click a button 5 times. They're going to click 1, maybe 2 times, but usually, unless they want your product like really badly, they're not going to click anymore. So keep that in mind. So make your buttons big enough. Alright, so tip number 2, keep your pages as concise as possible. So in the same way your users aren't going to watch a very long video that takes like 10 minutes to watch when they're on your website, they're also not going to read very long, boring copy. So I've said this multiple times in my videos, but write for scanners instead of readers. So you want your copy to be ordered that it's very easy for people to actually scan through it and don't have to read it all. So it needs to be very quick and very efficient. And the reason for this is that people don't have time to read very long pages or very long copy when they're on a lunch break or they're waiting for a train or they're at their work. So everything needs to be quick. So make sure you use bullet points and subheaders. So make your pages as efficient as possible. So talking about efficiency, you shouldn't just make your front end design efficient, but also the back end of your store. So I mean the code, so how fast the website is. So multiple case studies have shown that site speed has a very big impact on your conversion rate. But one of the most important case studies is the case study by Google itself. This case study shows that on average, if your site has a load time of more than 3 seconds, about 53% bounce with your site before the site has even loaded. 53% of your traffic, that's gigantic. So you want to make sure your site is fast enough, so you want to optimize the backend. And besides that, bounce rate also gets worse. So right now I'll put in a little screenshot. This is out of the case study from Google. So Sowasto, which is a software testing company, partnered with Google, and they tested over 900,000 ads and websites. And they found out that speed actually has a very big impact on conversion rate. But the most important factors were images and third-party apps. So what can you actually do to make your website load faster, and how can you actually optimize it? So here are a couple tips. Images slow down your website the most. Researchers have found out that pages that didn't convert had 12 images less than pages that did convert. So that's quite a big difference. So I'm not suggesting you remove all your images, because that will also kill your conversion rate. Because the truth is, if you're an e-commerce brand, you need to have images. Because if you don't have images, how are you going to showcase your product? And well, if you can't showcase your product, people aren't going to buy it. So I'm not suggesting you remove all your images. I'm just suggesting look at all your images and think to yourself and ask yourself the question, which ones are necessary and which ones actually sell my product. So and which ones have an actual purpose or goal. So find it out, and all the images that don't have a specific purpose or goal or actually sell your product, remove those images. So take a very critical look at your images. Alright, so the next thing you can do to optimize your website is minifying JavaScript or minifying any code at all. So CSS, HTML, just minifying code. So this one is a little bit more tricky because, well, your entire store is built on code. So for example, on JavaScript, run certain tags that allow you to retarget your visitors. So, and besides that, if you start minifying code, you can actually break your site. So that's not a very good point. So if you want to start Minify Code and want to optimize your site that way, it's very important you do some research, or maybe you can hire someone, because it's a task that takes a lot of time and a lot of effort, and especially if you're, for example, on Shopify or BigCommerce, or your site is custom built. If you're on WordPress, it's a bit easier, but for all the other platforms, you actually do need to know what you're doing. So do some research or hire someone. If you want an experienced team to optimize your site speed, you can actually click the link in the description and book in a strategy session, and we'll look what we can do to optimize your site speed, which will result in a better conversion rate. Alright, so the next thing you should do to increase your conversion rate is retargeting. So although retargeting isn't a change you make on your website that will increase your conversion rate, it's still very important, because the average mobile session takes about 72 seconds. So that's not a lot of time. So it's very hard to actually convert a customer in 72 seconds. It's a very short time frame. So what can you actually do about it? If you just retarget them, so someone goes to your website, for example, while they're on a lunch break, and they're on their phone and they visit your website. If they're later at home, for example, they come home and they open up their computer and they go to Facebook and they see your retargeting ads, they're much more likely to convert. So make sure you retarget through Facebook ads, Google ads, Instagram ads, whatever you can think of, retarget. So that's very important. If you're not retargeting, you're missing out on a lot of potential revenue. So pay attention to your media and optimize your media for mobile. So when people are on their phone, they're usually on the move. So as I said earlier, they're probably waiting on the train or on the bus. So when they come to your website, they're not going to watch a 10-minute video. So make your media short. So for example, if you have a product video, try to make it as short as possible. Make it 30 seconds, 1 minute, 2 minutes. And make sure you can showcase your whole product in that very short video, because people are just not interested to see a 10-minute video on their phone. So try to pay attention to that. And then the last thing you can do to increase your conversion rate, and this one doesn't only work for mobile but also for desktop, use testimonials. And I said it many times on this channel before, but if people don't trust you, they're also not going to buy your product. So there's no way you can increase your conversion rate if people don't trust you. So it's very important that people trust you. So use testimonials, because these testimonials will actually showcase that your product is a solution to people, their problem. So use them and take advantage of them. Alright everybody, that was the video for today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you have any suggestions for new videos, you can leave them down in the comments. And I'll see you in the next one. And don't forget, if you want a faster website, you can book in the strategy session down below. Bye bye.